meeting's over.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Dunbar, Harper,
Here.
Mazer,
Here.
Sofa,
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Wayrum,
Here.
Zimmer.
Here.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse the absence of Dunbar.
Support.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Dunbar. Sorry. Well, I have to remember to stop doing that.
Non-agenda items from the sidelines. Do we have any? No non-agenda items from the sidelines?
That's a good paper and-
Not today, okay. Comments from the city administration? No comments from the city administration today?
You got nothing, chief?
All right.
I have a couple. I went through the financial statements, because we had a review with Paul earlier. And I made, as I has in the past, I made up spreadsheets that explain basically how we stand. And I think it will give you a better understanding how our financial situation is. So I have that in there, and then there's one other item on the agenda that I may have to address later. That's it.
Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, I need to make probably four now. Under communications, I would like to add the Historical Society. And under new business, number 8, I have new city building drawing submission.
What was that again?
For the new city building drawing submission, new city building.
For the new city
The
hall.
new city hall building drawing.
Oh, the drawing,
Request for
okay.
the drawings.
Yeah, that's this.
And we're going to move our lettering down to include for, letter H is going to be the city audit presentation by Paul Bailey. So that's going to put communications at I, unfinished business at J, and new business at K. And adjourn at 11, or L. Other than that, I say the,
I also have something I wanted to add to the agenda. You're done. I wanted to discuss authorization for a stormwater review by the county, price which would be $1,200. I gave you all a sheet, kind of shows the fee schedule. Just be a short discussion, I'm sure, but one that I would like to add.
what do you want to add on
Is that under new business?
Yeah. Please.
So number 9.
Stormwater review.
Okay. Any other revisions, amendments? Can I get a motion to accept the agenda with, as amended?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper.
Yes. Approval of regular meeting minutes of November 12th, 2024, and special meeting minutes of November 20th, 2024.
We have a couple corrections on that. At the beginning, under the special meeting, it says July 20th. It should be 2024. And it said the meeting was adjourned at the bottom by Councilman Schneider, and I believe it was Sofa. Other than that, that's all I have.
I had no correction to 6.2, new City Hall extension of driveway. I was talking about the gravel extension we did in the back. It says add 10 feet to make it 20 feet in total. It was actually, we had 20 feet, we added 10, so it's 30 feet in total. So that should read 30 feet in total. The gravel back another 10 feet to make 30 feet in total.
Are you on the,
Yeah, where is
which
it?
meeting?
6.2.
Which,
Are you on
regular
November
meeting
12th?
minutes? Yeah.
To the minutes, right?
It's under new business, 6.2, from the regular meeting minutes in October, or November.
Okay.
November.
So it's
30 feet.
30 feet in total.
Just even change from 20 to 30. Originally it was 20, we added 10. Give it a little more room.
I get a motion to approve the regular meeting and special meeting minutes as amended.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
Presentation and approval of, number one, November disbursements report.
We can do them both at the same time.
Okay. $363,444.09 and electronic wire transfers of $28,039.30.
I'll make a motion to accept the presentation of the November disbursements of $363,444.09 and electronic wire transfer of $28,039.30.
Support.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
All right, we have our city financial audit.
Thank you.
No, we got communications real quick first, right? There's that,
No,
Where-
No, it moved.
oh, you moved that
we
up to
moved
there?
that, yeah, we
Oh,
moved it, we
move
moved
audit,
him to
okay.
H.
Yeah, audit with the H.
You're up.
Thank you. Pass out a copy of your annual financial statement. As you know, you contracted our firm to come out and do your annual financial audit. We come out and spend about a week with your staff, do the audit and pull it all together. We come back and go through it we met with the Mayor Pro Tem, Amber and Donna and Mr. Wilson. We spend a couple hours going through it, then we finalize it and here. I'll just briefly go through some numbers. Overall, you're in excellent financial condition, but we'll talk a little bit more specific. If you turn it just past the table of contents on the blue binder, it says UHY on the top. Independent Auditor's Report. This is technically the only portion of the report that belongs to UHY, our firm, and it's where we give an opinion of whether your financial statements are presented in accordance with general accepted accounting principles. And you have what they call an unmodified or clean opinion. That's what you're striving for. After you approve it tonight, assuming you approve it tonight, we forward it on to the Michigan Department of Treasury as required. That's one of the first things they look for, and again, it's what they call an unmodified or clean opinion. Pretty boilerplate language. If you took any other city, it'd be pretty close. Page 4, 5, 6, and 7, we're not going to spend any time with tonight, but it's what they call the management discussions and analysis. It's a 4 or 5 page letter that explains to the reader how your financial statements are put together, as well as some very summarized financial information. We'll talk a little bit more details in this letter, but this letter is required to be in there to get your unmodified opinion. On page 8, 9, and 10 is what page 8 is called a statement of net position. quite a few years ago, they started requiring government entities to present a full commercial set of financial statements versus a traditional way governments have reported. And the difference is the commercial way includes the book value of all your assets, your buildings, your vehicles, anything like that. Where traditionally, when you buy something in a governmental fund, you expense it, and it's, you don't have to. It's off your books. And this just basically shows if you were a corporation, if you were down in your right-hand corner, you'd be worth about $6.61 million. But a lot of that's tied up in capital assets and things like that. We'll spend a little bit more time on page 11. This gets into the traditional way governments have reported. This is your balance sheet or snapshot as of June 30th, 2024. The first column is your general fund. You'll see you had cash of $399,000. Some investments of $574,841, some receivables and so forth. Total assets this year, $1,088,932. Liabilities, accounts payable, accrued liabilities, and deposits of $21,000, which left your fund balance as of June 30th, 2024 of $1,067,209. There's two classifications. There's a portion that's called non-spendable, and that's prepaid items that you paid for, but it hadn't come in or is going to be used in the next year, and you can't spend it again, so you pull that out with $29,931. So that leaves your unassigned fund balance of $1,037,278. Now, if you turn over to page 13, the first column is this is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. It's actually your operating statement. And your first column is your general fund. You'll see this year you took in taxes of $582,000, some licenses and permits there. Intergovernmental of $171,000, basically state shared revenues. Charges for services of $273,000. Your interest and rents of $88,000. Other $16,000 for total revenues in your general fund this year of $1,143,494. Your expenditures by major category: general government, public safety, public works there. Total expenses this year of $589,238. So before you transferred money to other funds, you were to the good $554,256. You transferred a net out to other funds of $396,981. So for the year ended June 30th, 2024, you were to the good $157,275. So revenues over expenditures, so a pretty good year. Now, right next to it is your major fund. If you go back up towards the top, you'll see this year the Major Street took in revenues of $134,972. They spent $245,178, transferred $15,000 to the local street fund. So they actually spent more than they took in by $125,208. The street funds are designed to do that. As you know, you build up funds to do a street project. You do the street project and there. Your police fund, a new fund, because you have a levy, you have to have a separate fund. They took in revenues this year of $104,274. The expenses of the police department was $344,242. You had a transfer in from the general fund of $253,945. They transferred $5,000 to the equipment fund. So for the year ended, the police fund with the transfer from the general was just under $9,000 to the good $8,977,000. The fire equipment fund next to it had revenues of $66,462. Transfers from other funds of $128, so you added $194,744 to the fire equipment fund. The other column there is a number of other funds we'll talk about a little bit in the back, but in total they were if you go to two lines from the bottom, $117,471 to the positive revenues over expenditures. So again, everything looks really pretty good. The turnover the page.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yes, sir.
Like, just for example, in the police department, $104,000, does that represent the millage that is brought in?
The millage is $87,000, the very first number on the top.
Okay.
That's your 80. That's what your millage brought in.
And then the 239, that comes out of our general fund?
253.
Or,
Yep. Down at the
okay,
bottom.
that's 253 right below that.
Yeah, you transferred, you reallocated from the general fund 253 to make a balance, because as you know,
So
the
I'll
millage.
outside of the $104,000. And so if I want to look at what it's costing the city, it's almost $250,000.
Basically $250,000.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yep, it's basically less than a third of the cost of your millage pays for less than a third of the cost of the police department. If we turn over to page 15, this is your statement of net position or your snap balance sheet of your water and sewer fund. Starts out with what they call your current assets. That's assets that are readily either cash or readily convertible to cash. You see cash of $431,000. Your receivables, which is basically the water and sewer bills of $95,000. Due from other governmental units, $526,000. That's new this year. That's your grant and your loan program for the construction project, the sewer construction project that's going on. Non-current assets is your capital assets. That's the value of your water and sewer lines, your water tower, things like that. That's the book value. The depreciated value of $1,944,000. So total assets of just under $3,299,422. Accounts payable, a pretty good sized number this year, $569,361. Again, most of that is related to the construction project for your contractors out there. Some accrued liabilities, payroll taxes, things like that. Vacation and sick of $19,739. If your employees were to leave, you would owe them $19,739 of accrued vacation and sick pay as of June 30th. Bonds payable, that's a new line again this year because of your project you're going on. As you know, a portion of it's a grant and a portion of it is a bond issue. That's how much you had drawn in the bond that leaves your net position, total net position of $2,180,619. Most of that is the value of your water and sewer lines of $1,719,000. The unrestricted $460,000, that's about what you would have available if you were going to do another project. That's similar to fund balance would be the $460,000. Page 16 is the operating fund for the water and sewer fund. You'll see it starts out with the water charges, they were $197,000, sewer charges of $160,000, other revenues of $18,000 for total revenues this year of $376,000. Your expenses, operating expenses, you can see wages, supplies, so forth. Total expenses of $389,152, which left a net loss of $13,000, but that includes depreciation. When you buy an asset, you don't expense it all at once, you just depreciate it. Like if you buy a car, it's good for 7 or 8 years, and you allocate it over 7 or 8 years. So if you add that back, you would have been good about $37,000. That's your bottom number there. Again, it looks like your charges are fairly covering your costs. The rest of the report's a lot more detailed. There's a lot of notes to the financial statement. I won't spend your time tonight to go through them. I will touch base though just on page 38 and 39. As I indicated in the front, that other column is made up of 6 funds. The first fund that's part of that is the local street fund. You'll see this year they took in $53,000, had expenses of $29,000. They had transfers from the major street of 15, so they were $38,720 to the good. Your municipal street fund has a millage. You collected $57,061. There was no expenses this year out of that fund. And then the remaining 4 funds are just your equipment, your police fund, your DPW, your clerk and treasurer, and your library. And you can see where each one of those are and how much money they have at the end of the year. That's a real quick snapshot of the numbers. I got a couple of letters I'll briefly go over, but any questions on the numbers? I'll be happy to spend a lot more time, but I know you got a lot on your agenda also. Overall, I think you're in good financial condition. Also, the letters I handed out, the first one that it's just it doesn't have a heading. As I've explained in the past, in order for a CPA firm to do your audit, not only do we audit the numbers, but we take a look at your processes and try to make sure that there's 2 sets of eyes on all your processes, and we become aware of what they call weaknesses in your system. We're required to report it to the council, city council. there's only one item, and it's really a technicality that we've talked about in the past. Back when Enron was going on and everything, they come up with this crazy idea that regardless of size of entity, every entity should have somebody on staff that can draft their financial statement. But you only do it once a year, so it isn't cost feasible to have somebody on staff. That's what you hire CPA firms for. But they consider that a weakness because you rely on an outside party to do it. We specialize in governmental accounting. That's all I do all year long is governmental and nonprofit. There. Other than that, we didn't have any areas, and that's just not cost feasible. The second letter is the audit communication letter. Because CPA firms aren't required to come to a meeting like this, I always have come to the meeting and run over your numbers and answer any questions. It just kind of explains the process and whether we had any difficulties. Your staff is very cooperative. We start talking about when we're going to do the audit a couple, 3 months ahead of time. Come out and spend a couple weeks. Then at the end, after it gets reviewed, we have to ask, after I nitpick it to pieces from my staff, we usually ask for a lot more stuff. And everybody's very cooperative with us. Also, if we talk about anything, any areas that we just like you to take a look at, we attach it. There's a page called Attachment A. There, kind of 2 or 3 pages in the back. There's just a couple areas. The accounting software user profile should be reviewed. The 2 ladies in the office are using the same passcode input. We're just saying suggestion that each one have their own. So to be logged in, logged in. And the second one, the level your budget's approved at, the resolution that's passed is a little bit vague on what level the budget's approved at. There's 3 different levels you can approve a budget at. There's what they call the line level. That's where it goes down to salaries, supplies, utilities, everything. There's the department level, which would be the police department, the clerk's department, the treasurer's department, and so forth, and then the total expenditure level there. It's recommended that you approve your budget at the department level so that you don't have to make budget amendments, but if supplies is over by $5 and other is under by 10, in total you're still under budget. So they recommend, and your resolution is just a little bit vague at what level it's approved at. So we talked about it during our draft meeting, and additionally clarify what level it is going to be at the department level, and that's the level that the Department of Treasury recommends it be approved at, and that's what we recommend also, that it be approved at the department level. Department level. That's a very quick synopsis of your 40-page document. I'll be happy to spend a lot more time with anything, answer any questions you may have. A little bit more encompassing this year with your water and your sewer project. A lot of vendors, invoices and things like that, a little bit different.
So do we have to approve this today?
Yeah. You want me to make that motion? I'll make a motion to approve the audit presentation.
Support.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Parker. Yes. Mazer. Yes. Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to work with you again.
Thank you.
Take the cupcake with you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Can't give them away.
I know, they're good. They're really good.
So I need to make a motion to approve the communications?
Yes.
So,
To put them on file.
can I get a motion to put the communications on file?
So moved.
Do you need a second? I'll support it.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum.
Yes. Historical Society, letter from the Historical Society Dear Mayor and council persons, the Memphis Historical Society would like to reserve the council room on these dates in 2025 for our meetings January 23rd, February 27th, March 27th, April 24th, May 22nd, June 26th, July 24th, August 28th, September 25th, October 23rd, and November 20th. Our meetings are on the fourth Thursday of the month except November, which is 1 week early because of Thanksgiving. We do not meet in December. We are aware the city offices will be transitioning to another building in spring. If there is a conflict, we can make other arrangements, but we hope we can continue to use the chambers even in the new place. Our meetings are open to everyone. Thank you for your consideration. I don't see a problem with them using the city.
No, either. I'd like to make a motion to accept those dates for the Historical Society.
Support.
Parker,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayram,
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Unfinished business advisory committee sidewalks.
Steve, I think this was,
It should be in your packet, a couple of pages where we recommended strategy to get this rolled out. Pretty self-explanatory, but I'd like to keep moving forward with it. We discussed it for a number of months. Basically, it was in case Park did not have time and DPW to do an assessment, we have to start with an assessment. What needs to be replaced, the addresses, data's got to be produced, and just threw a very ballpark thing out there. If we hired a couple people to do it, it probably would be under 1,000. I don't know how quickly they will work, but I would think it shouldn't be a lot. But we have to identify the sidewalks that need to be replaced, the tree work that needs to be done, map it out, turn those into data points that can be followed, and then we can initiate the plan, start educating the public that the sidewalk repairs are indeed going to start taking place. I was hoping to get that part of it accomplished at least before snow falls, and then we would have time to start scheduling things in the spring. You know, we're gonna have to get bids from a concrete company, notify the owners, see who wants to do the repairs on their own. I've discussed it with Mel. Also, that homeowners that would like to do this work themselves, they can do the forms, but they're gonna have to be inspected by Mel to make sure they're properly prepared, slopes correct, and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of details to do, but we can't move forward on this until we get this information generated. So I'm all ears for anybody that has any alternative ideas on how to get that accomplished. But I just don't want to let it hang out there any longer. We've been talking about it for quite some time. So I just want to remind everybody this is an issue that we should address. So
Well, my question is, who's responsible to pay for the sidewalk?
homeowners,
What if it's, okay, if it's tree related, there's,
city.
and who determines that? If
That's
it's
why we
a,
need an assessment.
That's the assessment.
yeah.
If they're growing within the right of way, then that's a city problem. So that's why we got.
well, what if the homeowner, you have that patch between the sidewalk and the road? The homeowner put that tree there.
Planned in the right of way, it's city right of way.
If that would be ours.
Even though
If
they-
it's
they bought it.
eating the
Yeah,
sidewalk,
archery ruined
and
it.
Yeah.
it's generating a trip hazard and a liability for the city. It's liabilities that the city's gonna be responsible for. People plant trees in the wrong places all the time. Take it from me, I'm an old time nursery.
Because I couldn't find anything in the ordinance book about who's responsible to pay for it.
It's there,
I couldn't find it, if you could.
you know. I'm not gonna look it up again for it, but I have, Robbie. That's researched it,
Yeah.
and it is homeowners'
Yeah,
responsibility.
that goes back to George was still the mayor back when they changed it.
Yeah, I'll look again, I couldn't find it.
The city got sued for a sidewalk, I guess, or something like that, and turned around and said, all right, we're changing where the liability goes, so,
Okay.
in the 80s or 90s or something. I think this all looks pretty good. Now, you're looking at, just have some volunteers or people with the knowledge.
No,
to-
pay them. I put 15 to 17.
Well, not volunteers, just people to go out and do it.
Yeah, like maybe a couple of
Somebody.
seniors at high school, or you put it out as an independent bid for a contractor who might be interested. You know, two-person team could probably do it. You just gotta walk the sidewalks,
Streets, yeah.
mark them, correlate that with the address. Tree issue yes, tree issue no,
Okay.
tree issue yes, details,
Okay.
generate all that stuff, and then we could start looking at it maybe on a committee basis to see how we'd want to proceed in the spring. And then we also have to just inform the city, the residents, that this is coming.
Right.
The last point I put on there too, I mean, I realize it's gonna be a hardship for some people,
Mhm.
but let's take those on a case-by-case basis. We'll try to help people who are maybe not gonna financially be able to meet the price per square. And again, you can do it yourself, but we're gonna have to come up with a price if a concrete company does it per sidewalk square. You know, basically, I think is probably how we do it, so.
Now, I don't know, Larry, do we still have that, homeowner relief, the homeowner relief thing, if people who are poverty and need help with some things with their house, do we still have something like that?
I think we probably do, we'd have to look into it.
Yeah, cause that could help fund that.
Yeah, because you know, there's some that they get tax relief as well, so.
Right.
We have to look at that.
So we'll know, we'll be able to identify who they are.
Yeah, I can't answer it positively, but we certainly could look at it, see.
Okay, yeah, I knew there was some sort of fund for people who are low income, that if there's things they needed, they could use it. I mean, nobody hardly ever used it before, because we didn't really advertise it, but, that might be.
Yeah, I didn't know that was available. So
Yeah,
that
that
would
might,
be-
it's not a whole lot of money,
Yeah.
but it might, if we're doing a few properties here or there, then it might
Yeah,
be enough to help
I
out.
would hope that we're not gonna get a lot of people that are in that position, but definitely wanna help those that need it.
One other question on this, I guess, is if we're gonna be paying people to do this, which fund would that come out of? Would that be DPW or?
Don't know.
I think it would be
I-
preservation of
The
streets.
sidewalks
Or
normally
street.
comes out of general fund, I think.
General fund, okay.
Steve, are there guidelines of what's acceptable and not, like for offsets between different squares of the sidewalk?
No, Chief actually, I didn't really detail that out, but obviously if you got
Yeah.
elevation differences, I mean, a slight hairline crack in a square, no, I don't think we should, pull up a whole piece for that, but we're gonna have to use our
I'm just saying
discretion.
Well, I
for
think-
the person
yeah.
doing the
There,
job.
there is a guideline through HUD that, I know, like, if somebody's getting, FHA loan or something like that, when they come out there inspecting sidewalks and driveways, they say anything more than an inch is technically unacceptable to them. Now, they look past it a lot when you're buying a house, but I don't know how, are we gonna do an inch or we can do 2 inches, but that's how HUD defines a tripping hazard, as 1 inch. Or more.
For a lawsuit, the law says an inch.
It's an inch.
That's what I think it is too, yeah.
Anything more than an inch that would technically have to, and you wouldn't have to repair both pads for an inch lip, you just have to repair one pad to bring that level to the other one, I would say, to bring them to being equal to each other.
Yeah, so good detail. And then once we got a list, we can, we
Then
can
we
start
know what we're
going through
looking at,
them
yeah.
and seeing, we don't wanna put unnecessary costs on anybody, but at least if we could get the major ones, and particularly the trees that are just lifting the sidewalks out,
Oh,
that
yeah.
can't go on.
There's one on Potter, it's like
I
this.
know, we all know it.
There's
It's
a couple on
time to
Penn
start
that are
putting a
like
dent in
this.
that.
I've been there my whole life.
Real expensive.
It's that one, there's a tree right there, it's the tree.
The one on Benton, it's a tree too.
So are we making a
Well,
motion? to
I
approve?
just have a problem with, let's hire somebody to do something else that, we can do. I mean, this town is not that big. I walk around here all the time.
I'm happy to have the Department of Public Works do it.
Yeah.
But the impression I was getting when we had discussed this in the past, was they might be too busy to do it. And so
Well-
rather than have that as a stumbling block, I propose an alternative that can be pulled, the trigger can be pulled on that. We can't just stop for that. I mean, if they're in fact too busy to do it, and the council's comfortable with that moving forward,
Well, like I
then
said, they're driving around town all the time. I mean, how hard is it to, let's annotate, we need to specify what is, like maybe there's different levels of sidewalks. And we need to identify those that are the most critical first. And we can
So they're looking at doing them all, as our assessment, all at
The whole
once.
city.
So we don't do a half of assessment now and half one later.
At the end of December, don't they go around and check the water meters to every single house? Maybe 2 of them go along instead of just Scott.
I think they would be the most knowledgeable to do it.
For sure.
I mean, that's kind of what I was
I
under
think
the
they know
assumption
a
would
lot of
have to be done with.
addresses.
I didn't want that to be the poison pill that stopped this from
Well,
happening.
it's not gonna, I mean, we can't stop it, it's like, we've gotta get it done, so if we're saying that they need to do it, then they need to do it.
If they have the time. I mean,
Yeah, I think saying those things without the head of the DPW here is a little bit kind of putting the cart before the horse, but I think that he should be included in part of this as well.
Absolutely.
I don't think it should be a circumventing of DPW.
Well,
I think
no, and it wasn't,
should
Tim, but
be-
we had this
Oh, no, I
discussion
know.
with Bart here before, and so I was just trying to come up with
To put it
another
back
plan
in.
B.
And I, you know, this could be something that, I mean, we'd have to hurry up on it, but there's people who are honor society or Boy Scouts or things like that this could be a community service
I
hour.
think I was really thinking
Community
about high
service
school
hour
students.
type thing that where they could just, you know, cause I know the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts, they go around and do the food donation thing. They go pretty much house to house to do that, but, so they're capable of doing it, but we'd have to train them on what they're looking for
Once we decide how we're gonna do it.
and how we're gonna do
Who's
it,
gonna-
right?
So my question about that would be is what happens when we trust these people who do not work for the city and someone's sidewalk does not get fixed and someone trips and falls and it comes back on the city
Because we didn't inspect.
because we didn't inspect
Didn't
it.
flag it. It would be best if I mean,
I mean, I love the idea of offering
better,
community service
yeah,
for
it'd
it,
be
but I
better
just don't
to
think that's
have,
the safest way to do it.
DPW would be the best at it.
Yes,
You know,
I totally agree.
it's just how, if they find the time to do it, I don't know, you know.
Well, Bart has a part-time worker, doesn't he?
Huh?
Does it at Walls, does he still work?
I don't know.
'Cause I saw
think
he had a
so.
check with him in the,
No, he's volunteering
yeah.
He's a
I thought he had-
firefighter. Oh,
I thought he had a paycheck again, so I thought he's still working.
yeah, that might be something we could do part-time, call Johnny Walls in to do part-time, it's just hours.
Yeah, 11/19.
Either way, we're paying for it.
11/19 he got.
But I think we'd probably
What I
be
was
paying
getting
him
at-
more.
But what I was getting is,
Yes.
maybe Bart needs to get it. He needs that third guy.
Yeah, well,
Well, Bart was the one who offered that they do occasionally hire part-time people when we had this prior discussion,
Yeah.
so I was just picking up on his point there.
So I think ultimately, like, this moves from advisory to DPW to move forward, right? Like, that's what we're basically saying is
yeah,
not to kick the can, but to push it along. And now it needs to go to DPW and say, hey, this is what we need to
Well, that
do.
would be a perfect opportunity to have my first DPW
There you go.
committee
there you
meeting.
go.
Okay.
So, do you want me to make a motion to send this to DPW committee?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I'll make that motion.
Support.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
All right, new business, 2025 city council meeting dates.
So we just need to approve these.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the recommended 2025 calendar of scheduled meeting dates as listed.
Support.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayrum,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
And I just wanted to make a mention that, because of transparency and all of that, it says it will be held at City Hall at this address. Will we have to notify the newspaper that when we move to the new building?
I'm sure there's some kind of notification, I don't know the requirement, but I'm sure it'll be
We'll
on
do
the
that.
website and we'll be changing it.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's it.
Number 2, Comerica Bank regarding the CD renewal.
How's Larry, you're here, so how's that all
Yeah, we
looking?
won't know the interest rate until the date, it's December 6th, so we don't know what the interest rate will be, but we have to, excuse me, we have to just authorize the renewal. That's all you have to do tonight.
Is it it's a 6 or 7 month?
Pardon?
6 month?
I think we normally.
6.
It's 6
It's
months.
6
yeah.
months, yeah. But, yeah,
So you believe we should we should approve this?
Yeah.
I'll move that we approve a rollover of the CD fund.
Support.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
Number 3, Econo Signs invoice.
These look like
comment
part-
on this, or are you gonna do it, Jason?
Yeah, I'm not on DPW, but this is, they went around town and replaced a lot of the street signs and things like that. The ones that were old and faded, they weren't really reflective, they weren't looking good. And it's kind of a work in progress, but this is what they have right now, for what they've spent. So it's just a bill to be paid.
So these have already been purchased though?
Yeah, most of them, yeah, it's already been purchased and they're in the process of replacing them.
Just putting them up. Do we have a list of where these are all?
I don't, I'm sure Bart does or Scott, because when I asked, because, I know people who wanted the sign that was in front of their house. I actually got one out of the dumpster. Here, got one in the dumpster, and I thought, give me that. So, I asked them to keep me posted on that sort of stuff. So, I don't know, they don't have Batten done yet, but they've got Potter done, they've got some of Cedar. So they're just kind of working street by street.
Well, I'll move that we pay that bill for the replacement of street signs as presented.
Support.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
Number 4, Apollo Fire Apparatus Sales and Service invoice.
And that's for annual maintenance to one of the engines. I forget if it's the water truck or engine one. Doesn't say.
Looks about right for the age of that machine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
even oil changes aren't cheap on that thing.
I'll move that we approve the expense of the fire engine maintenance as presented.
Support.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Just want to add something to that. They pointed out to us that the water truck still has original tires on it from when we bought it, which are now 13 years old. 10 is the recommendation, so we'll be looking at replacing 10 tires on that. And of course, they came up with a whole list of stuff for us for the engine, but I'm putting off as much as I can on that since
How much are tires? Not great?
$50.
they're semi-tires, so they're gonna be $400 or $500 a
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
always
it's always things get old.
All right, number 5, Tri-County Vet Services invoice.
This was another DPW, they just had a backup, they had to call a vacuum truck out because we don't own one to clean the manhole and all that stuff.
And this has had some problems in the past too, I believe, with.
I hope so, because this is Potter and Henderson, so there have been a few issues over there, hopefully this kind of helps with that.
Yeah, we had one homeowner, we had a basement flooded out that was quite upset about that.
And then what's her name around the corner too,
Yeah.
it was the storm drain on my drain, so. Yeah, just another bill.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
to pay Tri-County $1,100.
Support.
Waring,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Advanced Tree Services invoice. Remove one maple tree in front of 81221 Bell River.
Well, is this on the right of way, does anybody know?
I don't know anything about
Was
this
there gonna be a
one.
cost share on this, or was this something the city was?
I think it's just a city
Now,
thing.
can I make
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I talked to Bart on this, and it's in the, it belongs to the city. And actually, there's a big hollow in the tree, and it had to come down. And that was done, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I believe, so, yeah. It's just
Yeah, I
up,
think I
just,
remember.
it's up the hill from my house. It's between the blue house, I think, and the other one up there.
So it was on city property?
And yes, it definitely was on city property.
So I make a motion to pay the bill to Advanced Tree Experts of $1,900.
Support.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wareham,
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Number 7, is that Fleiss and Vanderbilt?
Yeah, let me get that.
Reconstruction cost for Lois Robert and Union Street.
I think, you want me to make comments on
Yes.
that? Yeah, well, we've been working on this for some time. We had the engineer come out 2-3 months ago for the look at Union Street and also the Lois and Robert Street. That was designed under the grant that we got, and however, as you all know, or well, at least the council members have been on for years, they don't know that the grant came in so hot, much higher. It was originally $1,420,000, and it came in at $1,612,000, I believe it was, and so we had to cut something out, and so we couldn't do the reconstruction, and the council at that time recommended that we do that in the spring of '25, and because of the Union Street and because of the fire trucks, I believe, using that, there's a problem there as well, and so we had them come out, look at a couple months ago or so, and we've been after them consistently to try to get an estimate cost on that. We got it on, I believe, on the 27th of November finally, and so I did write up a memo for council on that. And so, and Bart did want me to mention one more thing that it's not incorporated yet, but we had a water main break on Boardman, right just the end of Union Street. And of course, that's a brand
Right in
new
the
road, we
news.
had to dig it up, which is unfortunate. So we'd like to incorporate, when they do Union Street, with council's approval, of course, that we also redo that and do it, and so that we can, so it can be packed and, with the blacktop and so on. So, and it's imperative we get going on this quickly, because we'd like to put it out for bid no later than early March or mid-March at the very latest. And the reason we do that is because that's when the contractors are putting their bids out for the summer. And if we wait, if we don't have it done by then, and we wait later, the price always goes up. So what we're requesting tonight is that council approve that we move forward on the reconstruction of Lois and Robert Streets and Union Street. And so that's what we need a motion on tonight, so that we can start proceeding on that. And I won't mention the contractor's name, well, you know who it is anyway, but they're always pushing deadlines, so we want to, that's why we want that done tonight if we can, so we can advise them to go ahead with it.
I had one question, Larry.
Yes.
On here it says there's, and we talked about this last week, I think, when we were, there's a $41,000.
Yeah.
Is that included with this, or is that on top of this?
No, that's,
Or has it already
that's
been paid?
included, and the design of Lois and Robert Streets is already done.
Yes.
And.
Already done and paid
yeah,
for.
Right, so
Okay.
we're only looking
That's what I
at
thought.
engineering costs on construction.
Yep.
Lois, or Union Street will need both design and construction.
Yep.
And that's why we want that approval as soon as possible. I'm making up another spreadsheet for you that will analyze the accounts, like major, local, and general fund and so on, and what expenses that are gonna come out of that, both next year and back, and also on 27 and 28, when we're gonna do phase 3 of Boardman. So I'll have that for you next council meeting for you to look at.
So I have a question. On Union Street, you said problem with the fire trucks and this and that. So we need to kind of rework that whole entrance?
Yeah, we want to work, that's pretty bad from my understanding.
It is, it's pretty bad for cars. I can't imagine for a fire
We've been
truck.
complaining for some time.
Yeah.
And actually, so it has to be done, and I think in the process, we're probably gonna put another catch basin there as well, that
Right.
it'll run into the one on Boardman.
Okay,
That
so-
we're gonna be doing all that at the same time.
So my second question, who did the engineering on Boardman initially?
Boardman, that was done by BMJ. That's the one that we used to have contract with all the time. We don't have a contract with them at this time, and Bart and I discussed it, and they still do work for us, but if they get too busy, since we don't have a contract, they can tell us no, but they've always worked with us very, since I've been on here 27 years.
Well, that's my question is like, you know, they did the design out there, but like, they didn't take into consideration truck traffic coming down that, so it's.
Well, that Union Street, there was only Boardman Road, the Union Street wasn't even addressed at that time.
Right, but they did the,
Yeah,
you know.
well, yeah, I guess what
Exorbitant
you're
amount of
referring to,
cement.
why didn't we come further in
Right.
on that? Well, it wasn't really, we were just doing Boardman Road, so that wasn't taken into consideration. I guess Bart and I could have mentioned that to him, but.
Yeah, they pretty much just look at the right of way of the road they're working
No, I
on.
get that, but I mean, we should have, like, I mean, that's our due diligence to look at that and say, you know, because now we're looking to redo something that we already paid to have done.
No,
You know what I
No,
mean?
no,
Part of
no,
it.
dude.
No, we didn't.
No, the only thing that needs to be redone is from the water main break,
We didn't do
because they
that.
had to tear over
No,
those.
they're doing Union Street and they're talking into taking into consideration, making it a better exit and entrance for the fire trucks.
Right. That has nothing
That
to do with
means they're
Boardman.
gonna have to they're
It
gonna have to
does.
redo some of that sidewalk.
That tightness right there.
You're talking
Yeah.
about two different corners.
No,
For the
No.
fire department, are you
no,
talking?
it's the corner of Boardman and Union.
More
Yeah.
than Union.
If there's a fire truck sitting on Union to get out onto Boardman, no other car is going to come into Union Street.
Well,
Well,
Period.
That's not even the problem.
But
The
The lights
problem
are on, they
is,
shouldn't.
You have to.
no,
wait
the
for
problem
somebody
is the
to
fire
turn.
truck is having a hard time getting out of Union by itself.
Oh, they are? You guys are?
They're going across the sidewalk.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
That's the.
So it's too
that's-
narrow there at the
It's
crosswalk?
too narrow for cars, for two vehicles.
If
If
somebody's
somebody's
already
sitting there,
there.
I can't turn in.
You gotta wait till they turn.
It's very narrow for vehicles and, you know, that's just, you know.
So what would you change on Boardman to fix that though? Isn't that coming off of Union?
It wasn't that way before they redid.
They put
Boardman.
those sidewalks and they bumped them, like they put that big bump out and made them,
I see what you're talking about.
so you
Oh.
can't, it's hard to turn in onto
It's
Union.
hard to
It's
turn off
hard
of
to
Union,
turn
that's
off
for
from
sure.
It's
Main.
hard to
on
turn
board.
both ways.
Yeah.
And if cars are parked all along, you can't see. I mean, there's gonna be an accident over there.
That's, that last parking spot there on Boardman at Union, I don't think should be a parking spot, because
I
you,
agree with you
Yeah.
there.
you cannot pull your car out without your
Yeah.
nose being all the way into traffic, and if it's a gravel train, they're not stopping.
But that's just my point. I just, you know, if we're paying this much for engineering costs, like, you know, we are in our town. We need to have some input on, you know, then not just letting them know, okay, they're doing the road and let them do the road, you know, and then all of a sudden we're like, you know, our sidewalks are gonna get crumbled because fire trucks are going across them, you know?
So that's something that when you're talking to them about, because they still have to do design and engineering for Union, but sounds like they might have to do a little bit of work on going into Boardman a
I
little.
mean, this engineering firm that we're working with.
Right.
That could be mentioned.
Okay.
It might have to be changed, so.
Something I would like to be considered if we're redoing Union is to pave the back driveway of the fire hall. We drag so much dirt into the hall with us, backing trucks into there. It'd be nice if that could be paved.
Would that be different because it's not a road?
It would be a different fund, I would.
It'd be a different fund, right?
I don't know.
Larry? Different funding?
Well, you're talking about like you're not talking about a road then, you're talking about.
We're talking about a parking lot, driveway. yeah.
Well, see, that would have to come out of general fund probably,
Okay.
not local, or, that would be a street fund, that would be general fund.
Okay,
That
so
would have to come out of that.
The company that comes out and does union, I wonder if they would
Well,
make a bid while they're here, they can do the work, you know?
well, that could be looked at.
And this is Union to Benton, not?
Yes, we're gonna,
Modern.
we did have them quote, as you look at, I've got a copy there anyway, of their quote. We had them quoted both, to Potter and then to Benton, or
Yeah.
separated, in case funds might be, not available. But when they come in with those quotes, that we thought we should do both and get it done. However, you gotta realize, and since I've been on council, when engineers give us a quote, not a quote, give an estimate, I've never seen a quote come in with that. It's
Right.
always higher.
Yeah.
Every time it's higher. But I think, and we could just drop off one, but I think since we're doing it, we should do all of Union Street, I think, rather than piecemeal it out. And on roads, the millage that we have can go on local or major. Also, roads can be financed out of the general fund. So we have options if this goes up a little higher than, the quotes come in. And we won't mention those prices, by the way, because we'll be competitively quoting this. And the other thing, where if we'd have incorporated that in the grant, which would have been the ideal thing to do it, but all that's under Bacon Davis. This is, we're doing it ourselves, this won't be covered under Bacon Davis. So there will be some savings there, so. Anyway, that's all we need tonight. Is
So you need a motion
guys
to
approve it, yeah.
continue with the engineering of the reconstruction of Lois, Robert, and Union.
Yeah, that's what just to proceed with the reconstruction of all those three streets.
Yeah, okay.
I'll make that motion to continue with the engineering of, proceed with the engineering of Lois, Robert, and Union Streets.
And reconstruction.
Yeah, right.
And reconstruction.
Yeah. Okay,
Support.
that's-
Thank you, Larry. I know.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waram,
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Okay. Number 8, drawings.
Did you initiate this, Steve?
No, we're not.
I don't know too much about this, but I know just a little bit. I think somebody contacted Jeff Kern. He was our former building inspector, back before Mal came back on. And he does, apparently, he's capable of doing an architectural drawing. And when this goes out, like we're quoting it, and I think specifically, when you're doing construction with a carpenter and you're doing adding a petition, to petition at all, you're adding a platform on one side for the council, you're adding a access for the public to come in, like a counter and so on. And so in order to properly quote that, you need architectural drawings. And I think this is what this is referring to. And I think when you analyze or figure that out, it's about $2,881.50. For architectural drawing for that, I think that's a reasonable price. We do have an architect that we've contacted in the past to do other things for the city, but it costs more than that. So I think we did discuss this at our building when we had that meeting.
No, actually, I could add a couple of things to that conversation. I did let Jeff Kearns and his construction manager or something into the building.
Yeah.
and he discussed that he was not comfortable. I sent him the perimeter drawings, just the layout that we got, the floor measurement
Yeah.
from Home Depot for.
Yeah.
But he said that wouldn't be sufficient, so evidently he followed up, which is good. And you said he would give us half price. Instead of charging $1.50, he would charge 75 cents a square foot.
Yeah, that's what it says in the,
So I don't know how many square feet we're talking
he
about.
said 3,842 square feet.
Did you
Yeah,
get a
sounds
copy of this
like a
in
lot.
your packet?
So this is, I just want to make sure I understand this. This is just to draw the blueprint for us to be able to do the
Architectural
work.
drawing, yeah,
For all those miscellaneous stuff that we want to do, Tim,
Miscellaneous
the
stuff.
electrical, the walls, he says we gotta make sure they're not
So we
on
paid
bearing
$3
loads.
grand just to be able to hire.
Well, we're not taking out any
That's what
walls
he's
though.
pitching. That he would need drawing, he would need architect.
Before he
As
can
far
do
as I
any
know,
work or
only
before
one wall is
anyone?
being added.
There's, yeah,
Is
there's two walls being added. There's
Is this
no
before he
walls
can do any
coming
work or
down.
anyone can do any
No,
work? Are
just-
there any like building codes
No.
that require architectural drawings? Is there any
that's-
city requirements? I don't know of any, that's why I'm asking.
A lot of building permits require architectural drawings.
If you're
Or
under
a
a certain
sketch.
amount of square footage, no.
It depends.
If you're
A
over,
lot of
yes,
them
you gotta have
engineers
stamped
skills,
prints.
too.
So we had,
His prints are stamped?
No, if you're under X amount of square feet, I don't know the exact figure, 2,500, 3,000, you don't need stamp prints. So if anybody draws a set of architectural prints for you, it's over 3,000 feet, they want a licensed
Has
architectural
anyone asked
person to
Mel if we
stamp.
need
well,
this?
that's what my question is. You know, Mel should be in on this conversation. Also, I had two contractors come in, one yesterday and one today. And the ones today, Henninger Construction, they do.
He'd probably do his own
And
drawing.
they said the drawing that we have, we're not really, architectural drawings you don't really need because you're only adding two walls. You're just changing the interior. So I would rather find out for sure
Absolutely.
that we have to do this or not, because I don't want to spend.
So there is a committee for this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can we make a
Yeah,
motion
we
to
did.
make a motion to send this to the committee?
well, it's not a committee, it's just
No.
like a group,
A group.
the planning group, I guess. you could
And which
say.
would include
It says
Mel,
right
right?
here.
Well, Mel wasn't
doesn't
here
come.
last week.
Mel wasn't here at the
Yeah.
last meeting.
Mel's probably, when does he leave?
Mel gets back next week.
In January, I
back.
think, sometime.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't-
I think we try to get in touch with Mel and see what he says, would be my, so I say we table this until we talk
That's a lot
about
to
it.
spend if we don't need it.
Right, exactly.
It's a lot. I mean, I gotta think so.
Get AI to draw it for me. I say we table this and, I make a motion to table this until we can connect with the building inspector to see if there are any requirements for an architectural drawing.
Support.
Mazer,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Waram,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
All right, number 9, stormwater review. Steve?
Yes, I didn't have a chance to get the pack, I gave you a fee schedule. We've got an ongoing issue with the drainage over at phase 1 of the Memphis Meadows project. I would strongly suggest that we use the Macomb County Public Works to do an assessment. I noticed they're digging a basement today on the last lot on Pratt. And that's right behind there is where the storm detention pond, which is still an unresolved issue in itself. But we've really had a lot of going back and forth with this. We have sent through our attorney letters asking for explanations on this issue. The letters we received back did not really satisfy my curiosity on it. And I think for $1,200 for any future projects that are going to be engaged in there, if there's a phase 2, and also to determine if phase 1, that drainage is correct. You know, that we should have the Candace Miller send her person out here. There's a whole department there of just stormwater plan review, and from 0 to, or from 5 to 20 acres, the fee is $1,210.
I think it's money well spent.
In lieu of what we spent in the last year, I think it'd be good to just get that independent review, and there's questions, been a number of questions surrounding this issue, which I can't definitively say yes or no, so I would like to get someone who does this all the time within the Macomb County to do it. And I'd be happy to try to set this up if you so desire. But it's
So are we not, we're not happy with the drainage plan that was provided from Urban Land Consultants?
This is a review, not a plan, so it's just to see where everything goes and where, you know.
And that review, that doesn't really tell me what I want to know about the whole issue. They can review it and they give us the same prints and the same information every time, but yet the issues that need to be resolved, like number one, where's the detention pond, have not been addressed.
Right.
But
And,
would the stormwater plan address that?
well, they'll assess, you know, that whole watershed area and what needs to be in place. And if they see something that's out of whack, a grade or a channel or
They get the
capacity.
plans and they review them, and then they look at where the creeks go and all that stuff. They look at the bigger picture, rather than like Nationwide generally is just looking at their footprint, what their property.
That 15
They're not looking,
acres.
they're not looking 300, 500 yards in the neighborhood
Not
that's
the high
down the road
school, not
behind
the
your house.
VFW, not all, yes, exactly.
And the
It's part
county
of a
would
much
look at
bigger
that and go,
watershed.
okay, where's this water going?
And it goes directly through Tim's yard and next door to me and into Ashray Creek and directly into the Bell River. So that's a very sensitive runoff for, you know, Bell River's one of the cleanest in the state. So I want to try to keep it that way.
I mean, it's been like that since I've lived there though. I don't know that it's changed at all since
Well-
phase one started.
It's not going to, but in the future, if you got all the concrete going there, and in the past,
Yeah,
Tim, it was a farm field.
yeah, trust me, I know.
With natural drainage, and I've watched it for 22 years out there, and it does not drain the same now. So either I wasn't very observant the last 20 years, or something changed, and I would like someone to tell me who knows more about it than I do. And it just, I think it gives us a better tool going forward with the entire issue of development that's going on over with statewide.
I think
I can't help but think we're looking for problems, and when we don't find one, we look for another one, and then we look for another one. I'm not saying everything's perfect, but, so, I just, that's just
It's a
what I
check
think.
and balance thing.
Okay.
You mean
Well,
just
has the phase
you mean
one
just specifically on
detention
the
pond
drain?
been constructed?
Pardon me?
Has the detention pond for phase one?
I
been
don't know if
constructed?
they're considering phase one done yet. They're still building the house, so no.
Yeah.
The attorney said phase one is substantially completed.
Substantially,
But not fully.
not complete.
Right.
I did include in the packet this week, 5 or 6 pages that tried to put all these issues into context with that, just for information only, to bring people up to speed. And it seems like I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years without getting any further along with getting a better understanding of how this is working and where the construction phase is, when it's gonna wrap up, when the existing condominium owners, because we've now got a bunch of new homeowners that have bought houses in phase one, don't know when they're gonna be responsible for taking care of the easements. We don't know if there's easements even filed with the city at this point. I'm getting blank documents back that don't have any dates on them for just the easement issues. And if we don't have easements, we can't correct problems, and so maybe that's why I'm a little sensitive, Tim, because if we go on and we find out that we really do have issues there and we didn't address them ahead of time, then it's gonna be on our dime and perhaps legal costs to go in there and straighten it out. And I would rather just, an ounce of prevention.
Sure.
You're looking for a motion to approve having Macomb County Public Works come out and do a plan review?
I'm willing to initiate that if the council would like me to. If not, I'm fine with just y'all passing on it too. But I'm just bringing it to the table for discussion. That's all I want to do is discuss it tonight.
Well,
They do. It's not a lot of money in that.
when's the
Good
next
idea.
planning commission meeting?
I don't think we need a planning commission for this.
I don't think we do either.
No.
This is doing due diligence as a city council. In
Planning,
my humble
zoning
opinion,
and splits.
it's only my opinion, that's all. I'm just one opinion there.
So I'll make the motion for Macomb County Public Works stormwater plan to complete for $1,210.
Support.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wayram,
No.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
What was that amount one more time? 1,210?
Yes. Okay.
All right, that's everything official. We have the City of Memphis 22nd Annual Christmas Tree Lighting, Friday, December 6th, 7 p.m. Santa will be in the fire hall for cookies and hot cocoa. Still looking for cookie donations, greatly appreciated at the City Hall. Also doing a 3rd annual Light Up the Night, holding a contest for the best decorated house in the City of Memphis. Cost is $10 to sign up, which will go towards the winner's basket. Judging will take place on December 22nd. They have to sign up for that.
Yeah, call and let us know so we know
Okay.
whose house we're going to look
All
at.
right, and then we also have the letter to Santa drop box at City Hall. If you want to drop your kids' letters off, the kids drop the letters off by December 20th. Okay? And that is all I have.
I don't have anything.
Brian?
Nothing for me.
I'm good.
Tim?
Steve, I just wanted to ask about these
Sure.
information-only ones. There's your notes, and I don't know if this is your writing on the top of this.
Yes.
Okay, so it says that construction for phase one, and we're talking about the detention pond again, and I just want to make sure I understand. This is your perspective is saying that it is supposed to be completed in phase one.
Correct.
However, when I'm reading here, it says it's gonna be constructed in 2 phases. It doesn't
Correct.
specify phase one or phase two.
So if it was 2 phases, phase 1 should be done. That would be the first phase. And the prints that I included in there, I think, illustrate that.
But it's saying it will be constructed in 2 phases.
No, there's
So
a
why
phase
would-
one detention, and then there's an extension,
It's
which
bigger.
is
Right.
extending it in phase two.
And then my other question would be, do we know if this was part of the requirements for phase one? Are these just part of the plans, or is this part that was the city council approved back in, it looks like 2021?
Tim, I went to...
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'll give you my quickest answer on this is I went to Macomb County where they registered the plans for condominium developments.
Yeah,
Those plans, 2015, I think is the number on it, show that detention pond.
okay.
And it says on that plan, and I think I noted that to you at one meeting.
Yeah, it is. It looks
It's
like it's
built.
on here. But some of these are vague. That's all I'm
Exactly.
saying. Like some of their
Exactly.
plans
They
are
are.
vague, some of their blueprints are vague, because I know I've seen ones that say that the detention pond may be completed in phase one.
I remember hearing that early on.
I could probably, Tim, I'll tell you what I'll do is.
I'm just saying.
No, I
We don't
understand,
have to do
and I
anything
appreciate
else.
your curiosity,
I'm just
because
curious.
I'm trying to, as a disinterested party, just look at what is required and what isn't.
Right. I think
And
that's what we need to focus on.
I can bring 3 or 4 different statements out of these documents
I mean, I can.
that I conclude as a layman said, this pond needs to,
Yeah.
in fact, there are, I won't try to, off the top of my memory, but every condominium project must have a retention pond. That's a condominium project. It does not have a retention pond.
The houses are,
Those are site condo, it's a little different.
yeah, those
It
are.
is a condominium project.
It's-
Those are off-site condominiums.
Yeah, they're called site condo.
Or unattached, yeah,
They're-
so it's
so
still
they
a
are a little
condominium.
different.
They're developing it under the condominium
Yeah,
code.
but it's,
I thought are the houses
houses
being
are not
conducted under
technically under
that?
the condominium code.
Well, then why do they have that
They're-
filed at the county as such?
I'm just,
That's because they're called site condos, it's just a way of doing things a little bit faster.
Classification.
than platting out land and making every address separate, you know.
Like
it's,
a single family home?
Yeah, they're technically single-family homes, but
You might be right, Jason, but
they're grouped
I
together.
view it as a condominium development phase one. That's the
Yeah.
way it was always sold to the city right from the get-go.
Yeah,
It's
site
121
condos
from every
are-
communication I read.
Yeah, site condos are not like a condominium complex though, they're just like, it's like a single-family home.
Still under the
built on a-
jurisdiction of the condominium code, which is governed by every individual county who,
Site condo?
it is by the county. That is our governing authority.
So, I mean, I go through a lot of site condos and they don't have retention ponds. They're just little neighborhoods.
I'm just telling you what I read, Jason. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll stand corrected.
I just think there's a
Everything I've read
difference
of
between
everyone-
condos and site condos.
I'm-
Because condos are, you know, condos are huge, bigger parking lots, stuff like that. You know, a lot less green space for, you know, the water to soak up like a farm field was doing a little better before, but, it's, you know, they're just different because they're single-family homes plotted out different. It's just
I
honestly.
understand the semantics, but they're being built under the rubric of condos. So they gotta be governed by the rubric
They're
of
being
condo
platted
law.
under a condo, but no,
Pardon?
it's different. It's just different. I mean, it's a simple search difference between condo and site condo.
If I look up the plans at Macomb County,
Ask them
and
if
it
they're talking
specifies the plan that they have filed with
Are
it,
they
they
talking
show
about
me copies of
condo
it.
or site
I don't care
condo?
what they call it, but they're showing me the plans that
There's a
they
different thing
filed.
for a site
They're-
condo.
That's what they're supposed to do, is that correct?
Okay, site condos are different than condos, so maybe
I'm
if
talking
you're.
about the plans they have filed with the county, saying this is what we're gonna build, this is what we're gonna develop.
Right, a
Here's
site
the
condo.
retention pond.
That's phase two, but.
No, this is phase one. There is no phase two on the books right now, nothing. What we have on the books is phase
It's
one.
phase one.
That is what was, the city council was initially approached to build.
Right,
That's what we're dealing with here, phase one, not phase two.
yeah, and I'm just saying, those are
Phase two
site
is
condos.
is a ephemeral hypothetical at this point.
Right.
I would
Phase-
like to know that we're doing phase one right
Right.
before we even start entertaining discussions, which many people want to do and go forward and start developing the rest of that land,
I don't know.
whoever knows how. And to me, I'm not going to just sit idly by and not have my curiosity and my due diligence satisfied that this is done correctly.
That's why we have.
Because I've been
engineers,
trying to get
you
to the
know.
bottom of it for 4 years, and I have not yet been satisfied by it. So
Well-
either I am off on a rabbit trail, and I need to be corrected, which I will happily
No,
stand
all
corrected.
I was saying was there's a difference between condos and site condos, that's all. That's all, you know.
Well, I'm looking at, is there going to be a hole there, or isn't there going to be a hole there?
Right, you're
For
talking about
retention
that, I'm
pond.
just talking about how.
And, you know, we want to parse out the language
There's a
and what's got to be
different- yeah,
done
there's a
and who's
different
got authority,
definition for those
fine.
two things, yeah.
But I believe the hole's got to be there, that drainage has got to be working properly.
Is that what our engineers have said? Did we have engineers look at that?
Hey, everybody's weighed in on this, but I still don't have two people singing off the same page of music.
I was just wondering, like, our engineers, do you know, Larry, did they look at
Yeah,
this?
this is
We have looked at the
BMJ's
plans.
paperwork. It
We have
says,
looked at the
BMJ.
plans
plans.
provide for a detention pond which will be
Right.
constructed in 2 phases. The initial phase has been sized to accommodate the flow from the single-family residential units.
And that is from BNJ, our
That's from
engineers.
BMJ,
Right.
so.
I got it from the county, I got it from BNJ, I got it from statewide themselves, different things, I got it 5 different places.
Yeah, no, I got no problem, I'm not arguing that a retention pond is needed or not needed, I'm not.
So when are they gonna do it?
Steve,
I'm not the developer either.
did the planning
Have we
commission
asked
They're not done
or
with
the
phase
city
one.
Yeah,
approve
that's
the
all.
site plan for phase one?
Yes,
Yes, we did.
Did
Yeah.
that site plan have a retention pond?
yes.
Then it's,
Right, right, but they're not done with phase one, so
Right.
they
No.
still have yet to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's why
Then
they have it
then call
assessed
it
now.
done. Then they
You
call
know,
it done,
let's,
you know?
let's just see, have it assessed, so I got an idea from the county, well, yeah, they gotta have that, and it should be up to the spec.
Well, I hope the county, you know, lets us know with all
Yeah.
that.
I think it might help.
Then it's
Or the
That's,
guy's
that's
gonna
the
come back
very
and
reason,
says, "You need
Jason, I
a
want them to
retention
look at it,
pond."
because
So
I
we
cannot
can-
figure this out on my
so
own.
if they say they don't need a retention pond or detention pond, whatever we wanna call it, what then?
Well, then they're absolutely contradicting themselves.
Macomb
do.
County is?
Macomb County, if you look at that information pad,
Yeah.
they will conflate the idea of signing off the jurisdiction
I saw
over the
that.
detention pond.
That's what I'm asking.
That is only if you are connected to a county drain.
Which we are not.
We are not.
Right.
So all that letter did from the county level was to say, you know what, statewide, we don't, and I could be mistaken, I'll stand corrected if I am, we do not have to be involved in the
don't
construction
have to be.
of
Right.
your detention pond. It does not absolve them from the responsibility of building that detention pond. Again, in my opinion, so that's all that does. If they're connected to a waterway or a county drain,
Has anybody from statewide said they're not building it?
Yeah, that's another question I have.
look, did you get the letters, did you get the letters back from them that our attorney sent? You tell me, I don't know.
But I don't see it saying they are or aren't. They
Well, that's what I'm saying, you
they're
tell
not.
me, so I don't wanna sit around and wait for people to tell me, I'll wait 4 years for an answer.
Well, if maybe the last thing they do.
No,
Would
this-
it hurt for them to tell me that?
Do they have to?
Who's the contact?
Why wouldn't they want
Hey,
to?
hey, who's the contact for
I'm just-
statewide?
I don't know, forgive me, Tim, it's a.
I understand,
My
I'm just
patience
saying
is
like,
about
I
out
feel
with
like,
this issue,
I do,
about run out.
yeah, that's
Who's the
fine.
contact for dealing with statewide?
That would be me.
Okay,
I supposedly am their
says here-
Who
liaison.
are you talking to?
Yeah, who?
Mike DeMille and or,
Mark.
Mark
So-
Skiba,
we have
both.
in our packet, it says soil erosion and sediment control permit application. Says, description of earth change, mass grading, detention pond excavation, underground utility installation, footings for buildings, paving, and other proposed improvements associated with the new multifamily residential development. Approximate start date, June 2024, approximate completion date, December 2024.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but I mean, if they're, I just say, I don't know if they said they're not doing it. So, I mean, maybe we're getting upset about
I don't
something
either,
that's
but
yet to be
that's
done.
why
you
we
know?
had, that's why we had an
Phase one's not
attorney
done.
draft them a letter 3 months ago
Yeah.
and ask him to address that issue. And they did not
They didn't.
come back and say, yes, you know what, city, yes, we are doing it, and it's gonna be done by X and somebody, no. And that letter that was drafted through our attorney, it seems like an eternity, our attorney was sent directly to statewide because we had tried, on my individual level as a contact with them, as my representative to the planning commission as a contact with them, to get to the bottom of this. And the reason that we asked the attorney draft so it would officially be on the record. They have officially received it, they've officially responded to it. You all have that information, you can look it over for yourselves. I still don't know the answers to the questions that have been asked.
I'm asking it too, I don't know if they're.
I don't,
If they're
and
saying
and
they're
I'm,
not doing
like I
it,
say,
they
my
say they
patience
are.
is on
I
the
haven't seen that answer
last
yet.
thin wire right now with this. I don't wanna spend any more time on this. That's why I want the state to come, or our county commission, or drain stormwater people to look at it. Maybe they can tell me something I don't know.
Yeah. My other question, Steve, I saw in your packet, the planning commission had a meeting after our last city council meeting, is that correct? Like a couple
I'm
days?
sure it is.
Right, they did? You guys, we didn't talk about chickens? We didn't update the chicken thing?
Chicken issue, how could I forget the chicken on this one?
That's,
The noisy one.
Well, no,
Right?
we,
it was, I didn't see it in the notes, that's all.
no, but we did,
With the
make
updated-
those changes though, right?
We didn't, because,
Well, you recommended
Yeah.
a few changes and, yeah, I don't know where the ball got dropped there, but yeah, we just need to bring it up for vote at council now.
okay. That's
So
all.
we'll have to get a copy
We'll add it to the next one.
of the updated regulations,
Sure,
and we can maybe move on that next month.
works for me.
Okay, good point.
Happy days.
Chickens for everybody.
I just wanna say, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
Merry
I
Christmas.
get move past all that for now. And I'm asking if anybody knows or anybody here has any extra time next weekend, not this week, but next week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The Lions Club will be out selling the Goodfellows papers. And we, over the years, we have less and less people helping us do it. So it turns into just like 3 people trying to cover those corners. And we got a lot of help from, the Weavers kicked in when we did what were we doing? The White Canes or whatever? Yeah,
Yeah,
White
my son
Canes,
was home.
your son was helping out a lot, and we just need extra people. If you want, you can get a hold of me, I can try to work with a schedule, or seriously, just stop in and say to somebody, hey, do you need a break? and stand there for an hour while they go get off their feet or
If we
go
at
warm
least
up.
get the two,
If we at least get the two, we're good,
and
because
I
Larry's
think-
good about the mornings for the school traffic, for Boardman. And then, if we have extra and nobody needs a break, cover those other roads, but the priority is just Main Street on both, north-south on Main Street. We just don't wanna leave it
that's
with only one guy.
completely-
I don't like to leave it with one guy out there either, because it's dangerous.
all that money goes directly back in to the city of Memphis too. That
Right.
is the charity fund, that is not spent on administration, the Lions and all, that goes directly to food baskets, people in need,
Yeah,
eyeglasses, all that stuff, and that is really that is, I think, our biggest fundraiser
it does bring the most,
of the year.
that's
So
priority.
it's important.
13th and 14th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we usually, when it starts getting dusk out, gets a little sketchy out there, we just kind of call it a day.
Yeah, have you ever thought when it does start getting a little later to go maybe through the winery and through the tavern and the dispensaries, just to,
It's a good idea, just kind of pop in and see if any
if
customers
anybody wants
want
to
Treat it like a
donate,
football game,
Yeah.
going
get
on
paper.
for a 15
I know
minute
that,
raffle.
though, I can't remember, one of the dispensaries said, if you want, you can set up right outside our door.
We
So,
did that before at the bank.
So for somebody who doesn't want to stand on Main Street, maybe you got mobility issues, or just can't
Right,
stand that
that's
long,
what I was thinking.
there's a spot to stand. I mean, I know that they've approached Dollar General in the past and were told, no, they couldn't do it over there. But I don't know who the manager was at the time, just that they could be long gone. It might be
Try him.
But
Probably
just,
be a corporate thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's all I'm asking, is anybody has any time, even an hour, because we're losing Eric this year too, he won't be able to make these, rehab his dog, from surgery or something, so. So yeah, besides that, motion to adjourn.